Hello, welcome to the Crafty Maven Getaway podcast. I'm your host, Anna.
And I'm Megan. Thanks so much for joining us today, all you wonderful crafty mavens.
Hi. So we are on season 2, episode 5. So we're plugging along, not as fast as I would like, but then again, our lives are crazy. So, right?
It is crazy. I forgot it was Friday today, kind of, once I got home, even though I get off early on Fridays. I just forgot, I started hanging out with the family, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's Friday. We're supposed to be recording.
I meant to message you earlier because I was listening to your messages yesterday, and you had even mentioned, hey, maybe we can do another car episode. Yeah. But then you never texted me.
I know, I never did.
And so I didn't hear it until it was already Thursday.
Well, and I was thinking about that yesterday, and I think I had to work like we were busy yesterday. And so I only took, I think, like half an hour lunch, if even a half an hour lunch. So I was like, it worked out. Like it probably was good that you didn't hear it, but.
Well, and it's just been this week I've needed to take a really chill week.
Yeah.
So I almost called out of work today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so, and because I was like, oh, I could get some scrappy stuff done. I mean, isn't that like all of our dreams, right?
Right.
To call out of work so we can do scrappy stuff
and spend the day scrapbooking.
The things you can't do when you're a stay-at-home crafter,
Right.
Like there is no calling out so that you can
I know.
So you kind of miss out on that. So I mean, but then again, you get to scrapbook every day because well, I say that like I work a ton now and I don't I've cut back a lot, but I still am not scrapbooking as much as I would like because there's a lot of times I just need to relax.
Well, and sometimes I feel like your health issues and life is like a full-time job sometimes.
Oh, it is.
It
is. Last week I had two appointments, and then I also had a tax appointment. And then I had to go pick up my kids. So, and then on top, like the time I needed to get back ready to do normal things, it's now today. And I'm not even normal, but that's fine because we did things today and I didn't call out. I was an adult.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Some days we just all have to be adults. Yep. So today we thought we would talk a little bit more about kind of continuing that thought process of what we were talking about perfectionism, but we thought on the flip side we would talk about performance anxiety. Yeah, I knew it was there because I just was looking into it. Well, talking to ChatGPT about how can I define this with but sounding like me.
ChatGPT.
I definitely use it a lot less or more than I would like, but I try to be strategic about how I use it. So I'm not using my brain because that's the whole point about that. But anyway, so performance anxiety, I think, is something that I don't know. Do you think we all kind of struggle with that at some point, you think?
I think so. Well, I mean, I think it depends because if you're just like an everyday crafter and you're not doing it for YouTube or social media, or you're not on a design team, or, there's so many different media types in the industry that you could have or that you could participate in. It'll be different, I think. And I kind of wonder, because I'm trying to think back before I started YouTube, did I have performance anxiety when I was just doing it just for my family and it was just fun? And I think that I did. I think it really blends into the perfectionism though. It really does become one thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think you hit that right on the nail on the head on the nail. Anyway,
yes.
Today is not my word day, so you're welcome, guys. You're welcome. I feel like especially you saying going back to, when you before you were doing YouTube, because I know we have that as a obstacle, if you will, if we're talking about anxiety and performance. I think that looks so much different when you're a YouTuber, or you do it on YouTube and you share it, but yet sometimes you don't, right? So it's so weird because obviously we choose to do this. Anybody who's on design, you have to apply. You have to, take the effort to give your information, take the time. I was talking to somebody else this week about, they were like, I don't do videos. And I was like, well, you could start off by doing this and, see how you like it, do little things. Like, you don't have to jump right in, like, see, and they're like, well, what do I even use? And I'm like, well, this is the stuff that I use. And I think that when they finally got back to me, it was like, like, oh,
that's too much.
That's a lot. And it is a lot, right? So it's like, there's all these different areas where anxiety meets perfectionism. I think perfectionism is a coping mechanism for that anxiety. And so it shows up differently, like before, because I think about that too. And I'm like, before, which was not a long period of time,
a few months.
I started scrapbooking in like maybe February, March. I got my first scrapbooking kit in May. And then I started my YouTube channel in August. So I was scrapbooking less than 6 months before. And I didn't care. And I didn't have that anxiety. I was like, I really want to do this. I'm just going to get it done and I'm just going to do it. And that was Go Getter Hannah. Go Getter Hannah, was go getting it at the very beginning. But I think there was that aspect of loving and really loving scrapbooking.
Yeah.
So I think some of my anxiety, like when I first started, was more based on, I don't know, how am I going to get to where all these other people are, like being very intimidated when I was looking at other layouts. And so to compensate, I did a lot of like scrap lifting type scenarios, using sketches a lot, and looking at what other people did and tried to find my own way. And so, and I think that anxiety was more like a frustration of not being able to get the look that I wanted because I didn't have the stash. I didn't know where to get all the stuff. Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Especially, when you first start, depending on like the environment and how you start really does play in like how much of supplies you're going to be able to find. Like I had to look, I looked everything up. I knew nothing about scrapbooking really. Like I didn't, and I didn't know where to go. And being in Hawaii without there wasn't really a lot of stores. There was one store that was just, it's like, it's kind of like a Michael's, but like a really expensive Michael's.
Was it a Ben Franklin?
Yeah, Ben Franklin.
I was gonna say, I think I remember you and I talking about that, like when we kind of first started talking. But yeah, Ben Franklin isn't around anymore.
I think there's one up in Washington, I think.
Oh, you do have them? We had one here in Idaho, and there might be one in Boise. You're right. Maybe in like bigger cities. Left. Yeah, there's not.
But I think there's one out near where Paige Evans used to live.
Okay.
Because I remember her saying stuff about going to the store and seeing it, and I want to say, did she go and sign something? I don't know if she did or not, but maybe that was somebody else I seen on the internet.
Who knows?
That would have been really fun. Like, how fun would have that been to go in, like, sign stuff?
That would be cool.
Gosh, if I was a big designer like that, I would be doing that all the time.
Yeah.
This is completely not like, and honestly, like I could care. Okay, say it's fun, but all reality, I don't really need to have something signed by so. I could just
Right.
watch YouTube and watch their stuff, right? And that's, I think, this is like way off the path because we didn't come up with questions beforehand, so we're
No, we
just
didn't.
freeballing it. But that's fine. But like that's the cool thing with a lot of the designers now is they were like YouTuber or
Yeah.
more like designing
Right.
coming up into, because I think about Vicky Booten and I didn't really know about her
Yeah, I
until
didn't
her
either.
collection, but I think she did a lot of local stuff, and I
Hmm.
she she must have got connected with a couple of the people that go around and do classes,
Oh,
because
I
I'm
think so.
assuming,
Yeah.
like any of us, who any chance we can get to take a class in our
Hmm.
area, if there's a big person coming, like of course, you're like, yeah,
Right.
heck yeah, I'm doing that, right?
Yeah. Right.
Um, if you don't, I'm just going to say this for anybody who's listening and watching. If you've not done a class in person um, with a designer or artist that does scrapbooking, you're missing out. And
Hmm.
at some point in your scrapbooking journey, you should try to do it because it's super fun.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to learn, and then you get that one-on-one. So like, if you have a question, you can ask them, and they're always amazing about answering and really helping you, and they have the time to do it, where it's like online it's a lot harder to
Right.
people
Right.
one-on-one at least. But anyway, um and even those people have performance anxiety. But so yeah, like at the beginning I was so fueled with like passion for and the love. I was obsessed. And I think a lot of us are when we first start, right? So it's just like figuring out what you need and being frustrated if you're not at that point. So, but it never stopped me or slowed me from scrapbooking
Right.
in any way.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
definitely doesn't look the same now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, it doesn't look the same now. Well, and my life now is so much different from what it used to be. And so I think that also plays into
Yeah.
it. Like, I do have performance anxiety, but I really do think a lot of my problem is like that perfectionism. And then also, like, I'm so out of I don't even know what to call it, like the routine maybe of
Yeah.
doing scrapbooking on a daily basis, that it's like some days my battery is like at a zero and it's like such a chore to go to my desk. But
Yeah.
then I think about it and that makes me so sad because it used to not feel like a good day unless I scrapbooked, or
Yeah, that was like
unless I
icing
got there.
on the cake, or that's like the ice
Yes,
cream at the end of the night, it just finishes
right.
off your night. So, wow.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think a lot of my performance anxiety right now just comes from like, oh my gosh, where do I even start? Like right now, my desk is a mess because I started going through a box the other night because I was like, I just want to touch things, but I
Yeah.
don't want to make a layout. And so I started going through a box of stuff, and I have this problem where I want to empty the box, but I don't have enough space. So
Yeah.
it's all on my desk now. And I'm like, well, crap. Now what am I going to do when I want to go scrapbook again? I'm probably just going to put it back in the box? So
Yeah.
like, it's like, what was the point of that? But that I think that I'm getting to that point where it's like, I just want to touch my things and I want to see them. And it's okay if I just pull them all out of the boxes and put them on my desk. And then if I just end up putting them back in the box, that's okay. But it's like getting me that exposure therapy, I guess. Like I'm exposing
You
myself to
sound like a
doing
drug
it.
addict.
I know, right? Oh gosh.
We just have to touch the paper. That's all we
Yeah,
need.
that's
Just touch
all I
it.
want to do.
Just smell that
Touch the paper.
packaging smell as you open up a new package. So that's
Yeah,
something that was in there.
yeah. Well,
But
and
you're
it
so
was,
right, though. With that said,
yeah,
you're not wrong.
it was so fun though. Like I was going through things and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I totally forgot about this collection, or whatever. Like there was a bunch of like different embellishment collections in this box and I was like, oh my God, like I'm so excited to use this
Yeah.
stuff now. So like I put it all in like a little container and it's on my desk. And so the next time I go to scrapbook, like I think I'm going to use it, and I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do. Like
Yeah.
maybe on a weekly basis I just need to have that exposure therapy where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Hmm.
Because that excitement, I think, is what helps you get over that hurdle of the performance anxiety or the
I
perfectionism.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that like sometimes we build that up in our head too as it's
Right.
going. Like the longer that I've been away from my desk, the more I'm like, oh, it's gonna take this and this and this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get kind of nervous. I'm like, but I gotta make sure I get up so I'm not sitting for too long. So and then I'm like, oh, but so I can't start a mixed media thing. And it's like, Hannah, get out of your head.
Yeah.
Out of your head.
It's not that
I
much
really just
work.
get in my head and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I was thinking just this last week, I was like, goodness, um, I miss doing mixed media. I miss like sharing the mixed media that I was doing. And I'm like, I'm not doing any of that. And I'm like, I got to get
Mm,
back to that. And so then I put that pressure on myself that it's like, okay, but I already said I already wanted to do Project Life. I'm like 2-3 weeks in. That's it. And so it's like, I think for me, it's like putting too much
mhm.
expectation on something, those rules, and they're
Right.
all mine. I'm sure most people could care less what I'm sharing. They just want me to share it. And,
Right.
and so, and then on top of that, like you were saying, just like the mess.
Mhm.
Watching a video a couple weeks ago, and the lady was sharing her desk area, and she had just reorganized it so it looks all nice and clean and all, it's like I was doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and she had a corner desk, and I'm like, dang,
Ooh.
corner desk. So now I'm trying to think, how can I get a corner desk in this room? And then I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put it all in this corner.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can do a corner desk. But she had all her embellishments in clear drawers, so you could
Ooh.
see all the colors.
Yeah.
Dang, I need that. I was like, dang. But even after watching that, I still haven't went through because I know I need to go through all my embellishments because I got the little iris photo ones, right? Because that's
Mhm.
what we all were doing.
Yeah.
Wow, but then I can't see it, and I was like, dang, I need to
Mm.
have it out. But then I was talking to my husband, and he was like, okay, he's like, that would look really cool at first. He's like, but get this. He's like, is it gonna scratch?
Mm.
Gonna get all cloudy and funky? Is
Mm.
the sun
Yeah.
gonna turn orange? He's like, unless it's like a really high, like plexi or I don't know. He was saying some kind of material, and I
Yeah.
trailed
Mm.
off. As we do. I'm like, okay, you got the muscles. So I just had to do things, but
Yeah.
but I hadn't thought about that, right? So I
Mhm.
was like, dang. So now I got to figure out because I think I need to have my embellishments in drawers or something, but like close to where I am so I can just pull out the box. So I was
Yeah.
thinking about that. I like to just pull out and I would like to put things in a dish because then I can have a drawer system, pull out the drawer that I want to use. See
Yeah.
it like, but then here's the other thing. So I've taken all this time to think about all these things, but I haven't done it. And so then I'm like, that's not how I want it. But I just used all my energy to think of the things that I want to do. And
Right.
once again, it's like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm fiending to create,
Yeah.
and I think that I find that now that I'm not in my room consistently, it's easy to go, I can just do it later
Mm-hmm.
and put it off, right?
Yep.
Like, oh, I have all day. I can just go in there later. Because that's
Yep.
sometimes what I do. Instead of like getting up and going, okay, when can I get in my room? Like, what do I got to get done to get in my room right away? And sometimes I would start the day in my room, take a little break,
Yeah.
like
And then never
I
go back.
get stuff done as much.
Yeah.
And so it's like so crazy how that consistency of really creating does create this atmosphere so in which you want to keep creating, right?
Right.
Like, how do we get over that performance and the anxiety that we build up in our head because we haven't been there? Oh, I'm gonna get rusty. And I mean, you do get rusty. I took forever
Right.
to do a mixed media layout a couple actually last month. It took forever. I
Yeah.
worked on it like 4 or 5 days
Wow. That's
because
crazy.
I put it on Pop Dot, I did the media. And I put everything, the title on Pop stuff. And I
Yeah.
used foam. So I am cutting and getting it all to fit these
Right.
tiny ass spots. Don't get me wrong. I love the layout. It turned out amazing and I want to do more like it, but it was a lot of work. And I
Yeah.
realized like this would have been maybe a 2-day project for me before because I probably would have did all the mixed media, got everything, all on adhere,
No.
and then
Yeah.
just I could have built it in one day. So, and I think that's the skill, right? My skills.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I don't still have them, but they're dull. It's like my kitchen knife that I had to
Yep.
just or like sharpen, it was so dull.
Yep.
Like it gets the job done, just not very well. So
Yeah. It's that routine. Like you're not used to scrapbooking
hmm
like you used to be. And
yeah,
that's like what both of us are craving to get back to, but we're like trying to deal with all of our health issues and our, family things. And we're trying to give ourselves grace, but it's like I'm noticing that I'm a lot more emotional. I'm a lot more like angry, like
yeah,
my fuse is like seriously, it's like from 0 to 100 a lot of days. And I'm kind of wondering if it's because I'm not getting in my room, I'm not creating, I'm not taking that time. Like I'm doing other things, but it's not filling my cup. And that I really, really think that that is my hugest issue is I'm not completely filling my cup. Like I love to read and I read on a daily basis, because like I can read or I can listen to audiobooks and stuff on my break and on my way to work and at work sometimes. But it's like I'm not completely filling my cup. And I really think that that's what I'm starting to feel is like I feel so out of control because I'm not completely myself,
yeah. Well,
which
and it's
is
the therapy of it,
hard.
right? So
What was that?
I said it's the therapy of it, right? Like
Yes.
scrapbooking is therapy. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's the justification or whatever. I can't talk here. Um, anyway, I was gonna retry this.
Juxtaposition.
Yeah, there we go. I knew that word was in there and it just was not gonna come out, even though I could hear it in my head. Um, is that we need it to be unstressed, but it stresses us out. And so I think
Yeah.
it's that performance. But like for me, it's not the performance of being on YouTube, though I do know that
Right.
there are people that like you can hear it in their voice when they first start their channels, and all
Hmm.
they want to do is show their hands because they're afraid to show their face. And I
Yep.
get it, everybody has this level of comfortable, and when you're sitting in your own room and you're not on YouTube or sharing on Facebook, you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about anybody else.
Right.
So,
Yep.
but like for me, it's not even like what I think anybody else, because at the end of the day, I'm not doing it for everybody else. I mean, I
Right.
love to share it, and there's something that I do gain from sharing, you
Hmm.
know, having the relationships with everyone that I share with and stuff. But it's really performance that I put, or the expectations I put on myself to perform. It's like, oh, I have to get this layout done in this amount of time, or oh, I have to make sure I get this project and this project and this project done.
Yeah.
Instead of just going, whoo, it's not about the projects. It's not, because it's not really. And I know that. And I think that's the frustrating part is I know that. I know it. I know it. I know it. But yet, apparently I don't.
Right. Yeah. That's the hard part.
Right.
We do know it, but we don't at the same time. Yep. It's that juxtaposition.
Right? Like it stresses me out, but it unstresses me. Like,
yep.
Well, and I think that's just what we do, especially as women. I'm not going to, I can't speak on a man's experience in the craft world because I imagine it's probably similar too. Right. Or it looks different when you talk about people who have different hobbies. But it's like, how do you fit this in, and get the most out of it? But as women, we put like all these other things weights on too. So it's like, sometimes I wonder if we can't help but put that. We got to create chaos in our life for whatever reason. We got to make it harder. And I think there's a thing to that, right? Where when we are doing it consistently, we're not thinking about everything else. We're thinking about the scrapbooking. And when you take that extra time away, you start thinking about all the other things and fitting in the scrapbooking. And it's just that mind frame, right? Mind that we need to have just thinking about it. It's like, okay. But it's like, but not making the excuses, because like if I go too lax on myself, then I just don't make anything because I'm like, oh, I can do it later. I can do it later. I can come back in my room later. That will be there later.
Right.
That stuff on my list that I want to get done, that'll be there later. And it's been a lot later.
Yep. A lot later.
So
well, I think maybe we should talk about like how we could overcome our performance anxiety. Or I don't know.
That would help. I think some of it is, for me, is not making excuses, right? But also think about my time in my room differently, right? Because when I think about like my biggest struggle is like I said, I'll put it off, right? I put off coming in because I think I have all day, which I do in my room. But I also know, well, one, there's these things that I want to get done or need to get done around the house. And then I also want to make sure I schedule in some rest, because as much scrapbooking is restful, it's not as restful as other rest that I get.
Right.
And so I prioritize those other things over the day, right? So I think for me, it's going, okay, I should block off my time differently, right? I can say, I'm going to spend, and I've heard other people do this, and it never worked for me before because I was just always in my room. So I didn't really need to think about blocking off time. Honestly. And I think that's part of where your maturity in scrapbooking in life is. Right. Is figuring out how to readjust when your life changes, and so that you can find what works best for you and where you're at, right? And not just like, oh, this used to work, because I think that's part of my problem now too, is what used to work doesn't work. And I'm still like kind of trying to do the same thing instead of, it's just not working, and that's okay. Right.
Yep. Right.
And so I think I need to schedule blocks of time where I go, okay, I'm going to take 20 minutes, a half an hour, get this stuff done that I need to get done. come in my room, get a taste of that scrapbooking,
Yeah.
right? So it whets my appetite, preheating
Yeah.
the and start, or whatever.
Right.
That whiff. And then, say, okay, half an hour, I'm going to work on this, you know,
Hmm. Yeah.
and then from there, and I say half an hour, like it could be an hour, but I feel like if you start off with a half an hour and then,
Hmm.
okay, what else do I need to get done? Should I go get like a drink or I don't know, something where I can sit down for 20 minutes, half an hour, rest, and then come back? Because I wonder if that's my problem, is that I'm not starting off right away doing it. I just put it
Yeah.
off. And so
Right.
next thing you know, and then I'm like, oh dang, it's 4 o'clock. And even though there's plenty of time, I think about all the other stuff. And I'm like, and then that makes me tired. And I know that's part of the season that I'm in. But I know
Right.
that if I sit in my room, and I do crafty things, I will be more relaxed. And in general, that's going to lead to a healthier life. Just
Yeah.
in
Right.
around, right? But then I also have time put into my schedule to do some of the other things that I know I need to get done, but I don't have to do
Hmm.
it all at once,
Yeah.
So I think that's what I need to focus on, is
Hmm.
trying something different and trying it that way, because I
Yeah.
think that the chunks of time would be easier for me to adhere. And then after, that hour or half an hour, and then I did something else, and then I come back, I think my mind will be more in the like getting revved up, and I'll
Yeah.
want to
And
be
so,
longer, and I can do that longer, and then I can stop and
yeah.
from there I can adjust. So what are things that you think that you need to do to help you kind of either get over your anxiety
Yeah. Well,
or
I think it's a lot of the same of what you were saying. Like just put it back into the routine in small increments of time.
yeah,
And like for me, because I have like an 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. job, like I don't, work from home. I don't, only work a little bit. Like I'm at work every weekday
yeah,
and I don't get home until, 5:30, 6 o'clock some nights. And so, and then it's like dinner time and then, shower or, spend time with the kids or whatever,
yeah,
like there's so many things. So like I think the easiest time for me would be like after we've taken like spent time with the kids, ate dinner and all of that, like between that like 7 to 8 o'clock window, probably I could, be at my desk or, organizing or doing something and just do it for like 20 to 30 minutes, like you were saying,
yeah,
but doing it on like a daily basis and then like
mhm,
getting those gears warmed up, like getting it back into the routine. And then maybe like I could just back off. Like if there's a day that I just want to go home and sit on the couch and
yeah,
not scrapbook, but then the next day I'll scrapbook, for however long I want to. Like that's kind of what I want to get into because, like just like you're saying, life is different, health is different, our bodies need different things. We're getting older, like
the
it's
kids
gonna
are
just,
in that,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
they have things that they are doing too. Like
Yep.
there's also that aspect of things of, they have other things, but they're still not, my kids are still not at the age where they're driving yet. So
Mm,
they
yeah.
still rely on me to help them. And granted, my kids do not do nearly as much as people's kids do. So I
Yeah.
will put that out there. So I know, like, but honestly, I can't commit to more things for them because
Right.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, for a while, I worked the craziest schedule of working
Yeah, you
3 to
did.
7,
Yeah.
like, or 3 to 8 or whatever.
Hmm.
It
Yeah, that's
worked.
crazy.
It actually worked really nicely. But there was no way, if I was scrapbooking, there was no way I would have got anything done, because
Yeah.
during the day was getting everything ready, like doing school, getting ready for work,
Right.
And even though I worked at 3, because it was school was letting out, I had to make sure I left like an hour to an hour and a half because my kids were getting dropped off at my parents' house for a while. And then a little bit
Yeah.
after I did that, they were able to start staying at home, but I still like there was so much time like chunked,
Yep. Oh yeah.
So, yeah. And there's a lot of
It's
people who,
crazy. Oh yeah.
the
We're not the
day,
only ones.
and I think sometimes it's not a bad thing to like not do too much during the week, like do little chunks of things, like you
Right.
said, like,
Exactly.
and it doesn't even have to be necessarily scrapbooking. And I think that's where during for you, even going and starting to clean up your desk,
Yep.
organize, pick out a collection that you know you want to do and your photos. So you have like stuff kind of ready and you're working for that. Because you could even do that in 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes
Oh
you could
yeah.
papers, pick out the papers and the embellishments that you want to use in the photos, and then you just put it together and you get it on your desk. And then you're
Oh,
already working through this plan of that starting that creativity so
yeah.
that when they
Totally.
decide you have a bigger chunk of time that you can do some
Sit
scrapbooking.
down
And
and
then
do
I
it.
feel like it's taking over your whole life, because I think that it's really unrealistic to think that every day of the week you're going to be able to go sit at your
Oh
desk,
yeah.
even for 20 or 30 minutes. Like, we think that like, oh, it's not really that much time, which it is.
It isn't.
It is. But like you're saying, all the things that you do, like by the time you're at the end of the day, you just want to sit and relax because you have to be up at
Yeah.
really
Yep.
early in the morning and get everybody else ready for
Yeah.
so why it's like even just doing 10 minutes where you're organizing something, you're cleaning up your desk, you know
Yeah.
you're picking out some stuff or you're looking through stuff.
I
And
think that, yeah, I
those
definitely think that that'll be helpful. Well, and I was even thinking like if I want to do like a mixed media page or something, like to maybe like do that during the week, because usually when I sit down and I scrapbook, it's usually on the weekend because I have more time.
yeah,
So it's like a Saturday or a Sunday. So it's like during the week, do those little things. Like if I pick out a stencil one day, if I pick out the paints or whatever product I want to use, like just kind of do little things during the week so that on the weekend I'm actually ready and I have all my supplies picked out, I have all my photos picked out, and then I could just go.
yeah,
I really
yeah.
do. I think that that will help with that, like
Mhm.
kind of anxiety that I get,
Yeah.
when I go to scrapbook now.
Well, and you're thinking about all the things that you need to get together in this short amount of time, It's like you're
Yeah.
like, hey, I just have 3 hours that I can work on this,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
so you like once again, we're putting obstacles in our own way, right? It's really not that complicated. It really isn't.
Oh,
But
it's not.
when you're creating every day or creating on a more regular basis, once you're consistent and you've worked through it, once you have a good routine, it's not
Yeah.
that hard, I should
Right.
say.
Yeah.
It's
I agree.
building that, building it so it becomes like second nature, that
Hmm.
these are the habits. It takes a while for a habit to like really start. So, and I think that's where it's frustrating. And this kind of goes along with performance anxiety when you get anxiety or emotions, right? Around a routine that doesn't work, right? A way that you're doing it that doesn't work. And I think that is part of what causes, because I wouldn't even say it's anxiety for me. I think it's just like frustration of like,
Hmm.
why this to myself? It's, like people, I guess I've not really been this person, but like, when you eat too much, when you're like, oh, all I can think about is that chocolate cake. And then you go to eat it and you eat the whole thing instead of just having a slice, right?
Yeah.
Or, and you're like, ooh, you know.
Yep.
And so it's like that frustration, like, why did I do that? All like that, So, like, why did I make these decisions the way that I made them? but I just always keep doing it. So I think it's because we had already created a habit before. And so we're
Yep.
trying to just ride that bike, but the road's not the same kind of road.
Yep.
So, and I
Yep.
know that kind of has been our journey throughout this whole year. I think we're just now pinpointing it a lot more because we are being more intentional, at least for
Yes.
trying to be more intentional to have like a balance of creating versus working on the business and the kits and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to do all those things, but I also think, well, if I'm creating things and sharing them, then that also helps the business. And that's where I know it's frustrating because that adds a whole other layer. And I think that's part of it. It adds a whole other layer
Right.
because I want business to do well because I know that there's things that I can offer people that
Mm-hmm.
other places might be able to.
Right.
And to be able to bring that ease to some people is, a nice thought. But if they're not seeing how I'm doing things, why do they want to, so
Mm-hmm.
it's lube.
Yep.
Want my brain shut off. Want to create and make something and then share it.
Yep. It should be easy.
and
We
and I
love
think
this.
like once you get into it, it's not that big of a deal. Because I remember when I decided to start up scrapbooking again last year, like I just went in and I just started making
Yep.
things. Didn't even think about it. And then as I created more, I think really it's that creating of, I don't want to say complications, but it's really like putting more on myself than what
Mm-hmm.
I was ready for.
Right.
When you
Yeah.
first start walking, when you think about a baby, when they first start moving, they can't walk. But once they start walking, it's not like they can just run. Well, it doesn't take long for babies to run, but you know what I mean? It's like there's
Yeah.
all these steps, and I think we try to go that extra step
Oh
before
yeah.
we should have. And
We're
not to say
ready.
that I should have made the decisions that I made because I don't wish I didn't, like I wouldn't have did it any different. But I think being more mindful
Yeah.
of the process in which I'm doing things.
Right.
But we don't all have that magic 8 ball that says, "Oh, but later this year,
Yeah.
this is what 2 years is gonna look like," So
Yeah.
got to roll with it. That's what we're doing. But I think
Yeah.
that's the good thing is this year we're trying to be intentional. We're just realizing, how we were doing it. That's what
Yeah.
caused it to this place, right? Because how we were doing it before wasn't really working in the way. And some of it is just making that decision to actually sit down,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
right?
All right. Yep. Just sitting down and actually
So
doing it.
this it's like no more rules. Because
Yeah.
I think that
Throw
really
the
is,
rule book out.
I think that's what makes the performance anxiety. I think that's really what it is. It's the rules, whether we think it's rules that we've made for ourselves, rules that we think that other people have for us,
Mm-hmm.
rules that, are in just general.
Right.
So there's like all these different layers of rules that we think or we want or, you know,
Yeah. Yep.
like for
Just
funs.
throw them out the window. It's
Yeah,
fine. It'll all work out.
it all work out. Because at the end of the day, you end up, once you get that layout done, once you have that project done, you have something that's beautiful and you loved it. And hopefully that helped fill your cup, right? I mean, that
Yeah.
was the whole point. So that's
Yeah.
why, and that's the thing that I'm like, I know I love doing this. I
Yep.
absolutely do.
Yep.
It's like, Hannah, why are you acting? You love it.
Yep. Well, and I think another aspect of that, like for you and me at least, is because it's a business. It's not just creating. It's a business. It's, part of something that we're creating. There's like a bigger picture and
Yep.
there are lots of layers to it. It's not just about creating this for our family, for us, whatever. Like
Mm,
there is another layer to it for us. And And I think really, I think that is where my performance anxiety comes from, because that's the bigger picture. That's what I'm working towards, is I want to do this as a
Mhm.
business, you know. I
Yeah.
want to be home scrapbooking all day, every day, you know. Like that is my goal. I don't know how long that's going to take, you know, like it might take 5 years. But it's like, I think that that's where my performance anxiety comes from, is like, I'm thinking about the future too much and I'm not in the here and now.
Yeah.
And I think that this year, definitely, I am looking at things differently and being more intentional and trying to decide and come up with ways that I can change it now and what
Hmm.
works now.
Yeah.
And I think like the podcast and everything, having the podcast has been really helpful, because there's topics that like I think I've been thinking about and I'm like, okay, let's talk this out, you
Yeah.
know, like let's work through it.
Yeah. We can't
Um,
be the only ones who
right,
like in the
exactly.
same place. And
Yeah.
like and even more to say to that, like I remember listening to the Scrap Gals when
Mhm.
before it would cost money.
Yeah.
And and I remember listening to them, and sometimes there would be topics or even paperclip
Yep.
round paper
Paper clipping
round
round
table.
table.
Oh my goodness, that's a mouthful. They did.
Oh,
I
Hannah.
it no, it's just my week, guys. Just my week. Paper clipping round table. See, I just
Yep. You got
anyway.
it.
I know, but that didn't sound right. I'm telling you, guys. Anyway, I can see, and this is my brain is seriously going all over the place. Okay, Hannah, get it out. Like
You
all
got this.
I know. I'm
We
like, there's
believe in
5
you.
things I want to tell you about. The ADHD is just coming out tonight. It really is. It's like I'm
Yep.
I can
Yep. I
plot
can
point the
see
bubbles.
all the things going.
My husband deals with this all the time. God bless him. It drives him nuts. It would probably drive me even more nuts. So he's so kind. But yeah, I remember listening to both of those, and there'd be topics where you're like, okay, I don't get that, because I was someone who was just creating.
Yep.
But so it's like it might not be relevant now, but at some point you will get to the point where life
Yes.
changes, because life
Yes.
never stays the same.
Right.
It just never does. As much
Hmm.
as I know, many of us try to have something similar, and we can have something similar for years and years and years. But at some point, kids grow up and move out. At
Yep.
some point, parents get older. Some point, you retire. Some point,
Hmm.
you are having kids. There's like all
Yep.
these different steps in life. And what it looks like at one part of your life is not how it's going to look. So we do have to be able to adapt.
Yep. Oh, yes.
And I think it's just that transition. It's like, how well do you do the transition from
Hmm.
one stage to another stage? And how resilient are you? And it's like, I think about my personal life, and I know I've had to be like super resilient. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's like, why can't I get it here? Because this place is such a sacred place. I put it on a pedestal in a lot of
Yep.
ways, right? It's on
Oh,
a pedestal.
yeah.
So it's like, oh, it's this amazing thing, which it is amazing. It's like, I know I feel so much better when I'm doing it. I know I feel like it gives me all these accomplishments because
Hmm.
I created something beautiful.
Yeah.
Can share that beautiful something, all these things. And and so yeah. Anyway, my brain's starting to go blank again. So carry me through, Megan. Carry me
It's
through.
shutting down.
It is. I worked today, and so that's my fault for doing the podcast on a day that I work. But some days are better than other days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
So
know. I'm
hopefully you guys are
actually,
able to follow what I'm.
yeah. Oh, I think so. I feel like we've kind of talked like a
Yeah.
lot about the different aspects of performance anxiety or whatever it looks like whatever is holding you back,
Yeah.
whatever emotion is holding you back from creating. Like, I feel like that's a very common thing in this industry. For some reason we just put pressure on ourselves, or there's other aspects that are putting pressure on
Yeah.
us, you know. And I think it's a common thing. And even though maybe somebody isn't feeling exactly what you and I are feeling, and I even feel like what I'm feeling is different than what you're feeling, like we can all relate to having emotions based around scrapbooking and our desk and, you know, all the things. So I don't know, remember what my point was, but I feel like it's really fun to get on and just kind of talk about things that you and I deal with, because I feel like that is normal, you know? Like the things we are dealing with, feeling in life, a lot of other people are feeling them too.
Yeah. And that's the great thing when we all share our perspectives of
Hmm.
where we're at in life and in things in our journey in scrapbooking. Where are we in that journey and what does it look like and how do we deal with it? Because when we're each sharing it, we can take bits from other people and use it for ourselves, you know?
Yeah,
Because that's why we all hopefully that's why we all share it, right? I share it because
right.
I hopefully it will help someone, you know.
Yeah,
Hopefully they'll not feel like they're alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. We
yeah,
all feel it. But
exactly.
we might not all feel it at the exact same moment or like you said the exact same way, but we all do feel it.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
all put pressure on ourselves
Yep.
to
We do.
perform in some way, whether it's in our scrap room or outside of our scrap room, and that affects our scrap time,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So, because well, and that's kind of the point I was getting to with as women, we just put so much on ourselves,
we do.
so much on ourselves. It's like
Yeah.
we have to be the best mom, we have to be the best, you know, this person and that and that and that and that,
Yep.
and we do all these things. We don't have to do all the things. We don't
Yep.
have to do them all.
Yeah.
Like they're definitely in life. You feel better when you're giving out more than you're receiving, right?
Right.
But to be able to give out, you have to have that store. And I know that's what scrapbooking does for so many of us.
Oh, right.
So it's like taking that and using it in a productive way.
Hmm.
So you were saying we don't feel like we took out of our cup to get
Right.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
as opposed to it like just really overflowing our cup. So I think that's a good way to end.
Yeah. I agree.
So
Yeah.
So super fun. And maybe
Yeah.
kind of go more on this topic. Maybe we'll go a little sideways. I don't know. I know
Yeah.
at some point I'd like to talk about like emotions and how in that aspect and using it in positive or like how can we use how we feel to like create if that
Hmm. Yeah.
so
Yeah. That's a good idea. Kind of like a mood board,
get
like
kind
how a
of
mood board makes you feel, you know, like it might make you feel one way, but it might make me feel like different. And then it influences our scrapbooking differently. Yeah.
and it being more on the aspect of like art therapy, right?
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. So anyway,
I love it.
there'll be a challenge with that because so when the design team starts, we're going to be starting to do monthly challenges.
Yes.
So we'll be sharing them here and on this channel and in the Facebook group. So
I'm
um,
excited.
like some of these things that we talk about, we can kind of make them into challenges.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm super excited to have a team because there will be a lot more brainstorming. And I think sometimes you need that. You need to come together with your peeps and
Yes.
storm because that gives you ideas that sparks passion and, you know, that excitement. And sometimes that's enough to hurdle you over some of
Right.
these parts, right?
Right.
So anyway,
Yeah.
we'll
Hey.
talk later. And I hope
Yeah.
you guys have a great scrappy week. Bye.
Bye.